Welcome to Brew with Miss Baritone. I'm your host, Chicky Baritone, and this is my podcast. I'm gonna give it to you all black, no creamer, no sugar, no honey. So join me as I brew up some life-giving conversations with some dope people. Welcome to Brew with Miss Baritone. I am very excited about my next guest. He is an entrepreneur with businesses in the healthcare and restaurant industries. But he also does some real estate. Please welcome Lamar Henderson.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here today.
How you doing? You good?
Yes, I'm doing great.
I am so excited about our interview today, and thank you for being a part of the podcast. First of all, it's always a pleasure to pick the brains of entrepreneurs because it's no one size fits all, and just how people get into entrepreneurship is always very, very interesting and always worthy of sharing.
Okay.
So your entrepreneurship journey really kind of started at home.
Yes.
With your father. Talk to me about what you were around that influenced you to go into it.
Well, my father, he was a contractor. He was a painter, but he didn't start off that way. He said he just decided, one day he wanted to have his own business. So I think maybe I was 3 years old at the time, and he just quit his job cold turkey and went from there. So I've always watched him, even work with him while I was in high school and in college, and it just gave me that burning desire to just want to be in business for myself.
Wow.
To have my own business.
Yeah. So anything about that, because even to watch someone go from having a job and steady income to really stepping out in this unsettling, uncharted waters of entrepreneurship. And I'm assuming, you were young and your dad did it in a time where entrepreneurship was not all that well known, or even a route that most Black people would take.
Exactly.
So how long did he ever return back to a corporate setting, or did he remain?
He remained.
And
Yes.
he wrote it out.
Yes, he wrote it out.
That is pretty amazing. And it's like any part of that, did you ever at any point before you made the decision to step out and do it, did you have that fear of, I might not need to do this?
You know what? Not really. I had someone, they told me this. They said, you know what, Lamar, they said, you can always get a job. So they say, if it don't work out, you can always get a job. But they just told me you didn't want to get late on in life and start having regrets. I wonder what would have happened if I would have tried this or tried that. So actually, that was a good thing, is that I didn't have any fear.
Yes.
When I said, if it don't work out, hey, I can get a job. I can
Right.
always get a job.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And that's so true. And that needs to be said often too,
Yes.
for people who feel like they got their toe in the water, but they don't want to fully jump.
Exactly.
And, you had your education as a backing, right? So you had that option. But let's rewind a little bit. You didn't just go straight into entrepreneurship.
No.
You started off in insurance.
Yes, actually, it's funny. I started off in actually merchandising for Frito-Lay before that.
Dang.
But I wanted to get into some type of sales, so I got into insurance.
Okay.
And from there, I said I'm just going to be here for just enough for me to learn the business and all that. And probably after about 2 years, I left that and went straight into insurance on my own.
And see, I tell people too, when you're in these corporate settings, because it's not going to be forever, you really determine how long you want to be in it.
Exactly.
But while you're in it, don't just get up every day and work a job to get a paycheck.
Exactly.
Retain
Yes.
that knowledge, because more times than not, it's going to help you into the things that you want to do outside of work.
So true.
Yeah,
so
and people don't, and I think that they really don't get that, and they're really not exercising that. Mm-hmm. And so you get comfortable with getting that check every 2 weeks. You
So
get complacent. And next thing you know, like you said, you wake up and you're still at this job and you're like, but dang, I should have got out 10 years ago. So did you ever have a plan when you were transitioning through your different jobs before you landed into entrepreneurship? Did you have a timeline in mind, or?
Truthfully, not really.
Okay.
I when I did it, I had the mindset that this is going to work. I'm gonna stay at it, and I'm just the type of person. I'm a firm believer. Whatever you do, if you putting your all into it,
Yeah.
you can make it successful. I mean, if I'm picking up cans for 8 hours a day, I'm gonna make some money. If I do this strictly for 8 hours a day, so I just felt like whatever I'm doing, it's may not happen exactly when I want it to, but it'll happen.
Yeah.
So my mindset was, hey, just stay with it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Now, capital always seems to be a very big thing as to the reason why a lot of people don't go directly into entrepreneurship. Was that an issue for you?
Yes.
And how did you overcome that obstacle?
It was hard. I sold my cars. I had 2 nice cars. I sold them, took that money.
Yeah.
Because I said this is going to be it's not going to happen overnight.
That's right.
So, like I tell people, you're going to have some sleepless nights, but when you're young, again, if it didn't work out, I can go back and find me a job.
Yeah.
So that is the one thing, and I tell people all the time that a lot of times, especially us, that we don't fail because we don't have a good business plan or a good business. A lot of times it's because of lack of capital. When we start off, we are already in the hole.
That's exactly
And we
right.
start off needing to turn a profit the first week. And in business, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So I was lucky. Things fell my way, and I met some people who could, help me along the way.
Yeah.
But again, that is a issue in our community.
Absolutely. And closed mouths don't get fed.
Exactly.
So you were very honest, and I appreciate that because, people have glamorized entrepreneurship. It's still being glamorized.
Oh, yeah.
And now social media is putting some extra icing on that cake.
Yeah.
And people really are not being very honest. I just recently saw an interview with Pinky Cole, who is over all the Slutty Vegan franchise or restaurants. And she said, I'm that entrepreneur that's going to be very honest with the ups and downs of this journey. And I appreciate that because it's not every day you're waking up and, money is just dropping in your account every day. You got days where you might not see money coming into your accounts, and days can turn into weeks, and weeks can for some people turn into months. And I think one of the best exercises I ever took, and this was in Greenville, I went through a business workshop, and they made a comment, just the math, knowing the math of how long before you run out of money. It's simple math. So if you make this investment and you have sacrificed all this, because you can't be emotional in investing. You really kind of have to check your emotions at the door. But if you put in $10,000 as an investment, how long can you go without making no money with a $10,000 investment? That's simple math. And I'm going to tell you, that's the stuff that people don't tell you. When you have sacrificed cars and you have sacrificed your 401k and you've kind of tapped out of everything, people really don't talk about that. But you going into insurance then segue you into getting these home care facilities and agencies, right? Your home care and your residential community facilities. Tell me about how that happened.
Well, when I was in insurance and I had my own agency, I was writing a lot of long-term care policies. So it got me kind of thinking about, let me check into this. So I booked a flight and I flew up to Cincinnati, Ohio to look at this franchise because at the time I didn't know anything about the home care industry. So I went up there. I liked it. Came back. I ended up partnering with someone. And my first home care was actually a franchise. I still at the time had a lot going on, so I wasn't doing it full time, but the business was successful.
Okay.
It was successful. From there, I loved the business, but I didn't want to be a franchise. I didn't want to be a franchise. So I sold that business, and from that home care, and from there, I opened up another home care. That wasn't a franchise. And I'm one of those people that whatever I'm doing, I'm gonna learn everything about it. Everything about it. So from there, I just started building up a home care agency, and I sold another one. And it was around maybe 2010 when I decided that, hey, I'm gonna actually do this full time. So that's when I let go of the insurance. I said, I'm gonna just concentrate on the healthcare field. And when I did that, it was one of the best decisions I ever made.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between having a franchise and owning it on your own? Because I know a lot of people don't know the differences, and it could be appealing initially, but talk about the difference between the two.
Well, with the franchise, you can come in and not know anything about that particular business. Corporate, they're gonna show you everything, as far as back office, how to get business and all that. And it's helpful. But depending upon the franchise, it's not a lot of what I call national advertising. It's not like a McDonald's where it's a commercial, you don't get that, but they help you, but you have to pay franchise fees on what you're making.
Yeah.
That's the big difference between doing it on your own and, bringing a franchise into it.
People don't realize that though.
Yeah.
That's the part that they don't show you, because it's, it ain't just this, we got this working model, it makes money, here you go.
Yeah. You have to, they get a piece of everything.
Right.
Yes.
Rightfully so, because they've kind of gone through the grunt work of what works and what doesn't. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's huge. And a lot of times, while it's nothing wrong being a part-time entrepreneur, if you really want to see a change in your business like yourself, you had to throw yourself in full throttle.
Yes.
You had to be all the way in.
Yes.
Because that 1 foot in and 1 foot out, if you really want to see it thrive, you really have to make that effort.
And I tell people that all the time that come to me when they want to do something. First question I ask, are you going to do it full time? If they say, well, no, I'm going to say, don't do it. Don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Because from experience, I can tell you, whatever you're doing, you need to be doing it full time. If you really want to see it grow, you need to be doing it full time.
Yeah. And it takes more than just one person. Yes. I know a lot of times another part that's very attractive, especially if you are an introvert and you have money and you want to start a business, but you're not a people person.
Yes.
How do you get people engaged into your business idea? Because just like anybody that's being successful in their business, they're not a one-man show. That's another really big misconception that these young folk think they can have money, start something, and it's going to be successful, and I don't have to bring nobody on board, and I don't have to but it takes a village of people.
Oh yeah, it does.
So how do you connect? How did you get to the point to where you had people believing in your vision?
I think by not being what I call scattered. And what I mean by that is that if someone see you, for instance, I sell insurance, but I also cut grass and I also wash cars. People really won't take you serious because they say that's just something she's doing as a gig, a part-time. So they won't see you as, for instance, a true insurance person, someone who I would want to, talk to about, help insuring my family, because they know you also cut grass on the weekend, you also wash cars. So I think one of the biggest things is that you you need to, whatever it is you're doing, that's what you need to do. You don't need to be doing all these other things. So people can see, okay, he or she's really serious about this thing.
That's good.
Yeah.
Seeing the consistency, because
Yes.
that's another thing I feel that's glamorized is serial entrepreneurship.
Exactly, yeah.
And they got their hands in all these pots because they just want to see what's going to pop off.
Yes.
And that's not always very wise to do. From a financial standpoint, even probably emotionally too, because divided attention normally is not successful.
Yeah, it's not successful.
Yeah.
And that's something that I can share, that I even learned, because at one time I remember, it's funny, when I was doing insurance, I also was doing, at the time, bail bonds, and home care all at the same time.
Dang.
So things were good,
Yeah.
made a little money, but not until I singly focused on one thing that everything just blew up. And I always tell people, when you do that, it'll allow you to do other things. But at that time, it'll allow you to do other things that don't require you. In other words, you can maybe start this business, but hey, you can hire someone to run that business. You don't have to be there day to day.
Right.
Yeah. So I always say, put all your effort into that one thing and let that grow and blow up. And then it'll allow you to, reach out to other things.
Yeah, being persistent. And then the other part about entrepreneurship is not only just all the focus on investing for this service or product, but also making the investment in yourself.
True.
I would be a fool to sit here and think that you started a business, but you did not utilize capital to train, learn, grow, invest in yourself.
Yes.
Tell me about some of the investments in yourself that you did in order to be successful in your business.
I do seminars, conferences, books, nonstop. Like, for instance, I'll be in DC this week coming up for something to enhance what I do. So again, learn all you can on whatever it is you're doing. I tell anybody, never stop learning.
Yep.
Never get comfortable. I spend money all the time in different things that would make me better, would make my business better.
Yeah.
I always tell people, try to stay uncomfortable. Don't ever get comfortable. Always stay
And don't
uncomfortable.
run from it.
Exactly.
And a lot of times being uncomfortable is signaling that you need to be doing something.
Yes.
To shift it, right?
Exactly. Keep you on your toes. Just stay uncomfortable.
Yeah.
All the time.
So do you struggle with, when you have obtained a certain level of success, you don't, want to feel like you have to be on this high and be uncomfortable all the time. So what do you do to pull back and to relax? Do you struggle with that?
I do. I do. I struggle. I struggle with that. Because my mind is always
racing.
It's always thinking about business, always thinking about something I could be doing to make some money.
Make money.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that people really don't talk about as well. It is, and that's something that Pinky Cole made a comment in talking about, the sleepless nights, and your mind is always constantly going, shutting your brain down. Like, people don't talk about that.
Yes.
You have to incorporate that being a way of life.
Yes.
Not just for business. It turns into your life.
Exactly.
So now everything becomes, how can this be profitable? How can I help this business with this thing and that, and it's an ongoing.
Yes.
So I'm going to put you on the spot. Have you thought about your exit strategy?
Yes. Oh, yes, I have.
And that's something that, great people in business all have exit strategies.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not something that you do for necessarily your whole life, but it's a season of your life where you dedicate that to the entrepreneurship journey. But you also, while you're making this money, in a traditional sense, people have retirement funds. But when you're an entrepreneur, you have to make an extra effort to think about how you're going to phase out.
True.
And then watching your money, as far as how you spend and how you save. Give me a snippet of what your exit looked like without telling me everything. What do you envision?
I'm 52, so
50 what?
52.
What?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
High five, 52.
So probably 3 more years, because I said I don't want to work past 55.
Good for you.
So yeah, so it's something I've been probably in the last couple of years I'm working on now.
Dang, and 55 is my magic number.
Oh, it is?
It is.
Okay.
55 is my magic number for fading out.
Yeah.
And I'm on a different side. I'm working corporately because I really enjoy what I do. Mm-hmm. And I don't believe in leaving money on the table.
Oh, yeah.
So until it burns me out and it's not feeding me, then I would definitely walk away from it. And I have no problem doing that. But while I am working, I'm learning. Mm-hmm. And I tell my mentees that all the time.
Yes.
You better be retaining as you work, because it's all that knowledge and somebody's paying for it.
Exactly.
All these things you're having to do to keep your knowledge base in a certain place.
Yes.
The corporation is also doing that too, but they're paying it.
Exactly.
That's why it's just not wise to be working and not find a way to build the foundation of your entrepreneurship desires and aspirations. So that's awesome. And what would you tell, because now we're in this era, when you started, there wasn't this big buzz on social media. There wasn't this being able to connect with somebody in China just from a post or an inbox. How has that hurt or helped business for you now?
To me, it makes it to me easier because you can reach more people. Yeah. You can let more people know what it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
So to me, that's a positive
side
of it. Yeah. If I had to say a negative thing, I think we kind of get away from developing personal relationships. Mm-hmm. And that's what you're going to really need in the business world is personal relationships.
That's so good. Because these kids,
yes,
they think they can text and video chat away.
Yeah.
And even with video chatting, it still isn't enough.
Yeah,
because you have to get in people's personal space.
Exactly.
And a lot of things that you intuitively feel when it comes to making business decisions, you feel it in people's personal space.
Exactly.
So they don't really recognize the power of that.
Yes.
I do. I try to really make a point to be in front of people when I'm doing certain things.
Yes.
Like, even with the working world, and of course, we all know how the pandemic affected everything and working from home. And then corporations realized over that 3-year period that productivity was not sustainable.
Exactly.
Now they telling people, y'all got to come on back in because my money looking funny.
Exactly.
And and then there's that certain type of worker who productivity wise, they're losing that because they don't have that interaction.
Exactly. So
and
true.
I see it. And I'm one of those people, I have enough discipline to keep my productivity up, but I don't like the fact that I'm working in a silo. And that's how I felt during the pandemic, because it takes a lot of people to do my job and for me to get interaction and input from all sides. But when you have people working for you, how do you keep them motivated? Because a lot of your business practices, you have to feed from the top down.
Yeah.
So do you feel like when you go on a granular level in business, how do you keep people engaged?
That's something that I always tell people, if you're going to be a business owner, a leader, or whatever, you need to get good at always putting time into your employees to keep them motivated.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something you have to embrace because it's a never-ending job.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a never-ending job. So you have to do a lot of personal contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lamar, you fly even The air traffic control can't even spot you. You fly so below the radar. I didn't even know all the stuff you did in business until somebody put it by you. I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't even know he did all of that. But you have managed to do that even in a world of social media. Mm-hmm. Are you intentional about flying that low?
Mm-hmm. I would say I am.
And what's your personal reason?
I think it's easier, at least it was for me, when everybody don't know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. That it's, you can just get there and grind it out.
Yeah.
You like to think everybody is wanting you to win, but we both know that is not always the case.
That's very true.
So I'm just the type of person that I just want to remain humble and, just fly up under the radar.
Yeah. But and this generation likes attention.
I know.
So that would be very difficult.
I know.
And a lot of I have a very old school mindset. I really want to get to a point where I eventually just kind of pull my personal page and just only have my Chicky Baritone stuff going. Because I don't care. I'm living life, in real time.
Yeah.
And I don't feel the pressure and anxiety to snap, even though I love pictures now.
Yes.
Anybody who follows me knows that. But it is literally for every picture and post you might see, I have done 4 million things that never made it to the public eye.
Yes.
Because I don't feel that pressure.
Yes,
I really like to live in the moment.
That's a good thing.
And that's our generation. We don't, before this social media stuff came about, that's what we was doing.
Exactly. True.
Now you can't even pull off or do anything in any moment, whether it's a concert, whether it's an excursion on vacation, whatever. People where's my phone?
Yep.
I got to get this moment.
Yep, you're so true.
Exactly. Or even just having a private moment with your mate. Mm-hmm. You ain't in love with me no more because you ain't posting pictures of me and you. What's going on with that?
Oh.
Some people really take it and make it something super deep. If we ain't got 4 million pictures of us or everybody is capturing moments to prove to people that you're successful.
Exactly.
And that's what I appreciate about you. I had to dig. Matter of fact, it came in front of me. I was like, oh, I didn't even know that. And and the people where it matters will catch it.
That's it. That's so true.
A lot of times the people that don't want you to be successful, it almost has to pop up and be in their face.
Exactly.
Because ain't nobody really checking for you that much.
Exactly.
But to your point, if you was always putting stuff out there, it will be fueling people to pretty much have you shut down what you have going on. So I commend you on that because it is so much truth to that. And everything doesn't have to be publicized in order for it to be successful.
I agree with that.
I know 100%. People who are millionaires who don't even have social media. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like that. I want to get to a point to where my money is turning over when I turn over.
Exactly. So true.
So what advice would you give to this modern age generation who, if they were to take the same path, when you think about your path, I know it's years of snapshots you probably having in this moment, but if somebody said, hey, Lamar, I want to do what you do, what would be the advice that you would give to them? That the first thing that will come to mind for you?
To never burn bridges, to always remain humble, and to try to learn something from wherever you at in life, whatever job you at. I don't care if you was at, McDonald's or whatever.
Yeah.
Learn all you can and just try to enjoy life and enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Don't worry about getting immediate success, but just enjoy the journey itself. And just become the type of person that at all times gives 100% in whatever they're doing. So that's what I would, share with any young person.
Yeah. And the investment is not only in the business, but you have to invest in yourself.
Yes. Never stop learning.
Never stop learning. Well, this has been my utter utter honor to interview you and to pick your brain. So thank you so much for being a part of the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Y'all give it up for Lamar Henderson.